Hey guys, this is MusicDude14Z, and I am back with tutorials. Not that I have lots of tutorials or anything, I have like one, but this makes two. Anyway, I'm planning on starting a new Redstone series. You guys can read a little more about that in the description. I just wanted to put out there that I always hear people going like, I don't understand Redstone, it's so complicated, I wish I could do it, so many people do so many cool things, and I just want to do it, but when I look up how to do it, I can't make it fit to my case, because Redstone's a case-specific problem. So, I'm here to teach you guys the basics all the way up to all the fancy things you guys want to learn. Doesn't really matter to me what you plan on doing, because this will teach you everything, all the gates, the latches, but for now we're going to start with the really, really basics, and we'll build up there. So I'm going to make a whole Redstone series, hopefully they'll come out pretty frequently. So yeah, why don't we get started? So first we have, since we're talking about powering blocks, like it says in the title, we're going to talk about the things that can power blocks. One would be a redstone torch, which supplies power. We'll talk about the ways they supply power over there. Detector rails supply power. Buttons supply power. And detector rails obviously only work when the minecart's on them. Buttons supply a burst of power that lasts 1 second. As you can see, it stays depressed physically, like it actually goes in for a whole second. That's how long it gives power for. The lever gives power for as long as the thing is down. When you place a lever, it always places in the off position. And when you flick it, it goes on, and it will keep supplying power till you turn it off. Tripwires are a little weird. You do need another tripwire and some string for it to do anything. I obviously don't have that here because there's no point, because they're a little more complicated blocks, and I don't want to talk about them too much today. Let's stick with some more basic things for now. But I will say that the way they do work is when you're on the string, it has power, just like the lever, until you get off the string. And if you break the string with your hand, it releases a burst of power, shorter than the buttons, but similar to the idea that it's a burst. The other two things, which is kind of similar to the detector rail, except they work with people, and for wooden pressure plates items, we'll talk about that in a sec too, is the pressure plates. You step on them, you guys have obviously seen these before, I'm sure you use them for doors all the time. They depress too. You guys can kind of see that right there, I hope. Anyway, hopefully it's not too low quality or anything. Anyway, so remember, watching HD so you can see everything. Here's a diagram that I built a couple of these, and this is basically just to show you the blocks that each device powers. If you break any of the redstones, except for the particular one we're talking about, it will still be lit from the lever. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if you left any one of these redstones, the lever still powers it, because it powers all of these evenly. I'll show you that, like, if I were to break this redstone and all that stuff, that one would still be lit, even though it's connected to nothing now. And if I were to break this one, so that this one's alone, it's still lit, because all of this stuff is lit by the lever. And you can see they're all the same brightness. It's not decreasing anywhere. And you can so that kind of shows that the lever actually does set that all the same. Alright, sun's going down. Let's change that. Woo! Alright. Hour 1. Anyway, so the other block that works like this is the button. It does the exact same thing. So you can imagine the same diagram with a button, same thing. So this helps you know where to put the redstone when you decide. You don't have to put all this down. You put down the one you want, and it lets you know where you can take the redstone from to get the lever to work. This doesn't work. The diagram's a little different if you place the lever on the ceiling, which is in the new update, or on the top of a block. You can kind of imagine rotating this diagram 90 degrees upwards or downwards, if you guys kind of know what I mean. I'm sure you get it. The next kind of power is pressure plate. This is a wooden pressure plate, obviously, and it powers the 4 blocks adjacent to the plank, never diagonally. Nothing really does diagonals. You'll see that. And it also does the block down there, which you probably saw, but just in case, I will throw a block on top, and you'll see right there. We'll talk more about the item thing later. Alright. So here's this redstone torch, which works similarly to that in the sense that it does the 4 adjacent blocks. But instead of powering the block below, it powers the block above. We'll talk about the uses of that later on, and I might also use that to demonstrate some things on the devices down there. We'll show you that later. Alright, so here's a door. Normally you only have one lever, or one button, or one pressure plate, but I'm showing every single block you can power. One being this block, which goes directly, because you're using this to power this bottom block of the door. See, opens. And if you go around the back, I could have just walked through the door. The stone button, pressure plate, will do the exact same thing. I just want to point this out, just the difference between the stone and wooden pressure plate is watch when I drop an item on the stone pressure plate. See, it's right on top, but it's not deploying. Where if I did that to the wooden one, it does deploy. This is because the stone button plates, that's the difference between them. Items which end entities will trigger this one, or only entities will trigger that one. Alright. Buttons. See? That block works. That block works. That block works. And this is just kind of to show you guys that you can power any of these blocks to get the door to go. Even the block under the door works, the one you placed it on, because you know you place doors in the ground. Alright. So here's a diagram to represent that. Every single redwood block could be powered. For example, I'm going to use this redstone torch to power this block. Open the door. In addition to all of these, you can also power the blocks in front. So just completing the diagram in a sense here. Or in the back of the door. For example, if I break this top one just so you can see, if I place it under here and power this block, the door does open. This could be helpful in case like these two blocks were in here, and when you place the door, it's sat like that, and you wanted it to face the other way, so you could do that to do that. Or you could, you know, walk over here and place it in that direction. But, you know, same deal. It's so that the door is very purposeful. The only reason I didn't include those two blocks on this side and the two blocks on this side is because then you can't really see the door. So the diagram's not as, you know, obvious. The other thing that works just the same way as the door is the iron door. Whoa, big surprise. But, you know, obviously the difference, in case you guys don't know this will teach you. When you right-click on an iron door, it doesn't open. Only redstone open iron doors. Ryan's door. Okay. Whereas, right-clicking the wooden door. And guys, if I didn't mention this, which I think I forgot, back over here, I did mention how wooden and stone pressure plates power it this way. The other block that powers in this exact same fashion, the block below in these four, would be the detector rail. Just thought I'd mention that, so you guys, that's an awkward piece. You don't really see those a lot, unless you're working solely on mine tracks, because that's where you use them. But I thought I'd mention it. Alright, this works similarly to the door, but only one block. All the blocks around it, including these two. But again, I left this one and this one off, because it's unclear. You can't see that there's a block inside. You have to take my word for it. Who's going to do that? Anyway, so, and just to show it to you guys, if I power that block, the light does go on. And if I break the block, the light goes off. So it does show you that you can power it from those two blocks. Again, I just didn't include them because it would block the block off. Whoa, block. Anyway, the other blocks that work in the same fashion as this are the fence gate, the trapdoor, both of which can be operated manually or by redstone, TNT, which that was a horrible idea. Wow, that was dumb. Anyway, guys, so I just have to rebuild that. Woo, I broke part of my tutorial. Yeah, that's not so good. I'm gonna be right back, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back after failing as hard as I possibly could. Yeah, so that was a complete fail. Right-clicking a TNT with a torch in my hand. Places the torch next to the TNT, powers the TNT. Because, you know, a torch power the blocks next to them. So, yeah, that didn't work so well. Sorry about that, guys. Wasn't even thinking. I was kind of, you know, I right-clicked on this one, I right-clicked on this one, and that's what happened. But let's get back to this. So, blocks that are powered similarly to glowstone would be fence gates, trapdoors, TNT, a note block, which, you know, you can tune, but, you know, powered by redstone the same way, and detector rails. Blocks like note blocks, detector rails, and redstone lamps, depending on how you power them, can power blocks next to them of the same type. That's a little bit more complex and case sensitive, so I'm not really going to show you guys that. If you're wondering, you can probably just look on the wiki page for those specific items, and they give you a lot of information on the way when you power a redstone lamp. Like if you power this from the side, it does the two next to it too. It's a little bit weird, but you know, it's not too complicated, just kind of case sensitive. And the last thing I want to show you guys is blocks that operate just like that, except the front part. So you can power all of the blocks except this one. Because, you know, that's the operating side, it's the utility side. Pistons, obviously, you don't want to power this block because then the block would move and it wouldn't be powered anymore. So that doesn't work too well. The same thing with the dispenser, because it shoots out the front and everything. And the sticky piston, because it's a piston. Yeah, it's a piston, but sticky. Piston, sticky. Pisty. I made a new word. You guys would find me retarded if I kept calling it that, wouldn't you? Anyway. Alright, guys. That's pretty much it for the Redstone tutorial. Well, for this first Redstone tutorial. So, I'll try to get another one out tonight. It's kind of late, so I don't know that I can. But we'll see. I got a little time left, and depending how long this renders. Thanks, guys. And this is Music Dude 14Z, and I am signing out. Thanks, guys.